Okay, like I was saying, this is battery voltage right now on the front of the truck, okay? If I start the truck, there you go, 11, 8, 12, 7, it goes up. Alternator's charging. I think it goes up to 14.7. Typically. Oh, no, today, okay, there we go. The issue is this does not stay at 14 volts after a while. It goes down to 12 and then it's not charging no more. So look, we're going down voltage now. See that? This is what happens. Cuts out. See, everything is back to a 12 volt, 12.3. So that's what's going on. That's why the battery was not fully charging. The voltage is regulated coming off that alternator, so it's not charging the battery fully. So that's the purpose of the DC to DC charger. Just like it says, DC to DC. Okay, we'll turn that off. Yeah, I've seen those mentioned on a few videos out there. And I was wondering, DC to DC charger, why would you need that? It didn't make sense to me at the time. Now it's all clear now. Okay, so what I need to charge, this is what I learned. What I need to charge the auxiliary battery is a battery charger, right? So this is a simple battery charger, right? This is an AC. This is an AC alternating current to DC. Yeah, battery charger, direct current. It's a very simple, basic battery charger. There's a lot better ones out there that are smarter, that limit the voltage. There's a maintain the voltage, a floating voltage, trickle chargers, and all that kind of stuff. That works, but it's not the best one, right? But what I got for the truck is a DC to DC charger. Similar to that, it's a battery charger, right? Except that's AC to DC, this is DC to DC. So it gets 12 volt in, and it'll put 13 to 14 volts out. The exact specifications are in the manual there. And it's got different settings for different batteries because different batteries require different charging rates, especially if you want your batteries to last. So this is supposed to have a boost of current as it's charging, and as the battery gets fuller it slows down, and then it will give a float charge, or kind of like a trickle charge, just to keep your battery maintained. I go, wow, okay, that sounds cool. So it'll take 12 volts from the engine battery or in the system, because the alternator is already hooked up too. So the alternator voltage will go from 12 to 14, goes in here, but it comes out stable out here for your auxiliary battery. And also controls the rate of charge automatically. So I think I've got the stuff to fire this up. What I need to do is, I think, cut this in where my relay is. Take the relay out and put this in there, because this is automatically switched off and on. Except this, I need an ignition wire. I don't have that on the back of the truck here. So when you turn the key on, the charger goes on. Otherwise it'd be on all the time and you drain your starter battery, right? So, but other than that, I think I've got everything. Okay, so last weekend I was out in the desert, went for a little camping trip, And I took my ice cold cooler with me. I got my auxiliary battery. I've got everything wired, but the battery went dry, went flat, went dead. Well, it didn't go dead, it went low. Okay, so I was trying to figure out why did it go low. This is the first time I've used it for anything other than charging batteries. And it's because of the alternator in these vehicles are regulated, the voltage output. So if you know anything about batteries, you need at least 14 volts to charge a 12-volt battery. So when you start this vehicle, the alternator puts out about 14 volts for a few minutes, and then it drops down to normal with around 12.7, 12.5. And although it's hooked up front to the rear, it's not charging the rear battery. It's not charging it properly. Even though I do have the Blue Sea automatic charging relay or battery isolator, this only works with a minimum of 13 volts. So when you start the engine, it clicks on charging the auxiliary battery, but as soon as the alternator cuts off or drops the voltage below 13, this cuts out too. So the rear battery never gets fully charged. Now this is the way it's supposed to work. But it's not charging my auxiliary battery, so I did some research. If you go look at Will Prowse does videos on solar panels. Yeah, he did a review on this Renogy DC battery charger. I go, okay, that makes sense. These come in 20, 40, and 60 amp. I got the small one. That's all I need. I got one little battery. Very simple install, but this will take, I think, 8 to 14 volt input and output 14 volts consistently for charging. You need those 14 volts to charge. Yeah, input range 8 to 16 volts in to the charger, and it'll put out 13.2 to 14.7. It depends on the settings on your charger, and it depends on what kind of battery you're using, because it's got different settings. It's got those little tiny switches, you got to set those. Lead acid, AGM, and lithium batteries, so different settings there. Yeah, so this basically has a relay in it too, so you got to have at least 8 to 16 volts in. Out, it's going to put 13 to 14 volts out, because that's what you need to charge your battery, and it'll consistently do that whether the engine's running or not, which is kind of good. But you got to have your engine running, otherwise you're going to drain your starter battery, right? So I put a manual switch in there. Figure I don't need it on when I'm driving around town here, or when I'm not running my cooler or other accessories off the auxiliary battery. But yeah, that's what it is. Now I also have the manual switch on there for the batteries. It'll combine both batteries when I need it. Like when the battery went low and I need to air up my tires. Hey, shut up. Yeah, I need to air up my tires, and the voltage was down to 10 volts on the auxiliary. I can just reach in there and manually combine the two batteries, and I've got a full 12 volts. Dang dogs, will you come here? Come here. Come here. Be quiet. Yeah, so I got a manual switch that'll bypass the charger, and it'll bypass, well, it did bypass the charging relay. That worked out great, because I can also use my auxiliary battery to start the vehicle if my start battery goes dead. I just got to switch it over to combine. So we'll see how this works out. I could use a solar panel, but we'll see. I mean, if you go out regularly multiple days, you're going to need more power. So you need to keep your 12-volt battery charged. I mean, your auxiliary battery charged, right? Yeah. Because when the engine's not running, it's not going to be charging. So guys, it's always something, you know. I tried to use as much stuff that I had here at the house, you know, as far as hardware and wires and stuff go. I had the wires yesterday, but I didn't have the ends, so I had to make a run to the store for that. So I made up my ends, okay. But now to mount this, I'm gonna screw it down. Shoot, I got no screws. It's gonna go something like that. I think it'll be okay right there. So, okay, that takes care of that. Another thing I noticed while I was working on this, if you look in here, let's see, can you see that? That's the bolt for the holding the shell on. It's loose. There's nothing holding it. There's only 2 of them, and they're both like that. Apparently, the whole shell's loose. Yeah, so I think this side's okay. See, there's the bolts right there. Yeah, this side's tight. This side's loose. Yeah, right there. So I'm gonna have to go get some lock nuts. They don't have nylon lock nuts on that side. I don't know why. I didn't put it up. Alright guys, having problems putting these nuts in. I'm like, what's going on here? Cross-threaded or something? These are 5/16 by 24 threads. These are 5/16 by 18 threads. Oh man. Wrong thread for these things. The 18s will work. Lucky all I need is 2, but I bought 4 so I could do both sides, but I guess I'll have to do that later. Anyways guys, it is like 80 degrees out here in Southern California. It's barefoot and shorts weather, right? So that's in. Man, I had to run to the store 3 times because I just screwed up. But I think that'll do. I tested it out, but what I need now is juice to turn it off and on. I'm not going to turn it on with the ignition because, like I said, I don't think I need it charging all the time. So I'm going to hook it up to this here because I got an extra switch. The first thing I had to do was identify each switch. These came pre-labeled and they're not like applicable to my situation. So like shit, I don't even know what they are. But this is the light bar. That one there's correct, roof lights, the KC's on the roof. Then I got a right LED and a left LED flood, and the first one is the factory fog lights. It's like, okay, zombie lights doesn't do anything. Okay guys, it is Thursday already, and I'm trying to finish up this video. I was editing it. I was doing some editing and I'm thinking, I need to add something on there. I want to hurry up and finish it. So just to explain something real quick here. I've got the engine battery up front, which is 12 volt, running off the alternator, or stays charged by the alternator. I add an additional battery in the back of the truck. The auxiliary battery is operating all this auxiliary stuff back here, okay? Needs a charger, right? Got my fuses, inverter, onboard air, right? Yeah. And it's all controlled by a switch. I got my bit master switch here that controls the rear battery and the front battery, combines the batteries like it says right there, combined batteries. A couple of fuses. I got to change those out to smaller fuses. Those are like 100 amp fuses. Only needs a 20 and a 30. That's just to charge the battery. So I just wanted to explain that real quick. I got a master fuse up here. These are for all the accessories. I only got 4 fuses on that. These are my switches for everything back in the back of the truck. Okay. And in fact, half of these aren't even being used. They're extras. But I got a USB if I want to charge something with USB. I got a 12 volt. Turn on the inverter and I got 110 volts up here on the strip. Also with some USB. It's got some lights. And that's to charge my cameras. All the cameras take different freaking chargers, so, and they're all 110 volts. So I plug those in, set them right here, and go have a few cold ones, right, while they charge. Compressor's hooked up to here, yeah. And a couple of recovery gear and stuff like that, just in case. Emergency kits, emergency first aid kit, stuff like that. Okay, yeah, so my problem was keeping the auxiliary battery charged. I installed it some time ago, but I've never really used it for anything other than charging cameras and phones and stuff, running my laptop. So this time I took the 12 volt cooler. Well, that's another thing I still need to wire. I am running the cooler off the 110 circuit. I got to turn the inverter on, and it's plug it in, right? I got a little extension cord on here so I can actually run this outside the truck. But yeah, I need to put a 12 volt outlet back here so that I can run the cooler off the 12 volt, off the auxiliary battery, right? I don't want to drain the start battery, because I do have a 12 volt outlet in the back seat here, but like I said, yeah, I don't want that running. In fact, that don't even run when the engine's off. I mean, that's not even hot. It's right here on the console. I got that and 2 USB ports, but that only works when the engine's running, so I need to run another wire back here. Another project. Meanwhile, I had to fix my charging issue, so that's why I put the DC to DC charger. Because I'm going to need it now if I take that cooler with me. I got my battery back here, right there. Alright, that's it. Just wanted to give a quick explanation here of what it's all about. And I'm going to post this in about pretty soon. One more thing. Hey, you can get your stickers. Order some stickers. I'll put a link to that on YouTube. You'll find these stickers available. Stickers and shirts. Stickers, t-shirts, or whatever, you know. Make a donation over at Teespring. It's RudedogII channel. Hey, look, it was almost 90 degrees yesterday, and look at the clouds out here. Huh. And they forecast for 90 degrees again today. We'll see.